I'd now like to invite Dr. John Patterson to come along and tell us about who he's.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's very nice to see you all. If you don't know me, my name's John Patterson. I was a GP in Tameside for 6 years, and then I've been a GP for the last 10 years in Oldham, and in the last 2 years I've been the Chief Clinical Officer. And thank you, Alan, for your discussion on luck. It does remind me of the sportsman who said the more he practiced, the better he got, and the harder he worked, the more lucky he got. So it's maybe not just all luck, sir. And I too can't think of anybody more deserving than yourself for an award, but I can think of somebody equally deserving, and I want to talk to you for a few minutes tonight about Peter Wright. There's a caveat, which is we don't have a microphone, which makes me nervous, so I have to project my voice, and with my wonderful Belfast accent, everything just sounds a bit threatening. So this will be the most threatening and aggressive congratulations that you'll get. And we're doing a reverse video award here, where instead of Peter appearing in the background to say thank you, he is going to watch this video, maybe in Portugal, on it if his Wi-Fi is better than his practice Wi-Fi. And he'll then hear all our best wishes, and maybe, Jane, we could dub in a bit of applause and laughter at the appropriate times. I don't know, Peter, what you think about music, but Bono, the lead singer of U2, famously was cornered in an interview and asked why he was making his millions and why, as a musician, he'd opened up a hotel. And he said, and I won't do the accent, but imagine if he was from Belfast, he would have said, it's a music business, and we thought there's no point being good at the music but bad at the business. And the difficult thing about general practice is that it's a healthcare business. And we're sort of left to ourselves to juggle both those difficult things. And I think GPs get in trouble when they just do the healthcare and don't have the business or the regulation skills. And we also get in trouble when we just do the business and we don't do the healthcare. And Peter Wright has been an exemplar at doing both. And when I tell you a bit about his career, you will understand that he has had to navigate some very difficult contract changes, some very difficult relationships, but always his passion for patient care has shone through, and that's been the priority of the changes that he's had to work through. Now, there's only one of me, Peter, that's not a reflection. But I found it easy to find people who wanted to have a good word about you and make sure that I mentioned the things that you'd achieved. While Alan was cycling through France, being a bit work shy, you turned up in Oldham in 1983. You started working with Dr. Wilkinson, many of you know, at Glodic Health Centre. He then partnered with Dr. John Danson, where is he now? And Dr. Smith. He moved to Barleyclough Medical Centre, which then became Glodic Medical Centre. He later went into business with Dr. Guy, Dr. Chowdhury, Dr. Hussain. You've basically burnt through a lot of partners, that's what I think we've learned. And eventually you had to manage the practice on your own for a while, and then you went into another partnership with Dr. Ahmed. There were two mergers. There was a merger with Radcliffe and the Addy practices. And then the practice continued to grow. Patients kept on joining you. And you have now ended your clinical career. I know you're still going to do some clinical work, but throughout that time, despite all that change and all that business competence, you put healthcare first. I don't know if you know this, but Peter is an excellent hockey player. Did you know that? And apparently there are stories, which will be for another time, of his hockey play, and he was a flying winger. He's not here for me to disprove this, I can tell you anything. But he's a flying winger in hockey. And his main hobby is train spotting. So we are going to get HSJ2 built, no matter the expense, just so you can benefit from that. And we've heard about workforce tonight. I think it's very important that we adopt a one-in, one-out policy, and at least one of Peter's children has been inspired by his father to go on and be a GP themselves. So let us all be aware of that in this workforce crisis. Okay, Peter's done the work. And I was really keen to nominate Peter because I really like him as a person. I think his values are intact. If you know anything about the man, not only did he have to deal with the business, but the personal issues of caring for family. He has been excellent and selfless in that. I also deeply admire him as a doctor. Glodic is a tough gig, and yet he's been there year after year, achieving good in CQC, excellent QOF outcomes, and absolutely being part of our sort of culture. Now, I don't think Peter ever really embraced commissioning or the health authority, but I thought so much of him that he was one of the 3 doctors I tried to approach in Oldham to take the job so I didn't have to take it. But he wouldn't. Nevertheless, that's how much we thought about him. And the thing is, general practice is still the best job in the world. And Peter, you have been one of the best of us to be a GP. General practice is still the best job in the world, and there are some days where it feels like a magic job, and we see changes in people. And I've been lucky enough now to do 10 years in the same place, and I'm starting to learn that it's harder to stay and be good than it is to move about and be good, but there are some real values and joys in doing it. And people who you thought had given up on you as a doctor turn up 2 years later, and they made the changes, and they come back, and those changes have had wonderful repercussions in their families and in their communities. And I did it for 10, and I'm doing it for 10 years, which I know, looking at the room, means I'm just a beginner. But you understand, the easy fixes are easily fixed, and then the patients that are not easy to fix hang around. And then people come and see you as the senior doctor, having gone through lots of other really good doctors, and they come into your room with those expectations that you're going to be the one that fixes them. The pressure of being the senior doctor. And yet Peter carried that really well. He carried it with humour, and he did it for 35 years in the same community. So I want to finish with another quote, because I was thinking about you, Peter, and this is Billy Joel quote. I don't know if you know Billy Joel. He's modestly famous. I'm aware that I am at a LMC meeting, but let's be relentlessly positive. Think about Peter now on the shores of Portugal in the sunshine, basking in the positivity of retirement. And Billy Joel describes his profession, which is how I want to describe our profession. In a way, we are magicians. We are alchemists, sorcerers, and wizards. We are a very strange bunch. But there is great fun and joy in being a wizard. And Peter, you have been one of our Gandalfs. So thank you very much.
Dr. Cecilia, is she here?
Yeah, she's here.
She's here.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of Peter. As you said very well, he's in Portugal celebrating his wife's birthday. And as I was setting off to come here today, I got a text from him saying, "You're going to get a recognition award," which got me excited. And as you carry on reading, it happened that the award was for him. I'm always only picking it up from his because the excitement went away. And then at the end he said, "Say some nice words." I thought, "Thank you very much, Peter." And then I set off. And then we were seeing the presentation about GP at hand and said, "Why do I have to say some nice words? We could have done a Skype." And you say it yourself. But anyway, I think we said most of the things that could have been said about Peter. I was going to say that he's the most committed GP ever, but obviously we got him sitting there, so he might be the same. And yeah, he was very big on his trains and everything. He was big on his practice as well, and up until the last minute, he was always an open door for every single colleague and doctor around, with always good advice about anything that you had to ask him, and that was something very valuable. And the only 3 years that I have worked with him, he was also very big on his patient care, and you still get them knocking on every single door around the practice trying to find, of all the multiple doctors around, someone that resembles him, because they cannot find another one. And they keep, trying around and see who can provide what he was providing, and somehow we cannot provide yet. And I think he retired after 35 years of very well-deserved retirement, of hard work in general practice, and it was really sad to see how he was taking his doctors back with his stethoscope, his thermometer, his good patient care, his good colleague care, and also his, not to say 35 years of experience in general practice. When we really need 5,000 or 6,000 GPs, you're getting 35 years walking out of the door and you think, is that right? But it's well deserved, and I hope that we all can do that one day with the same pride that he did.